In the brutal 18th century landscape of Punjab, there was a relentless demand from the ruling Mughal Empire, a silent tax levied not on gold or harvest, but on the very soul of a people. This was a decree that compelled individuals to abandon their distinct identity, to cut their hair, to shed the unique form of the Khalsa. Under the shadow of unimaginable violence and persecution, every day presented this harrowing choice. Most people, facing certain death and the loss of everything they held dear, reluctantly surrendered. They paid this silent tax in submission, melting back into the anonymous masses to survive. But then there was one man, a simple farmer rooted in his small village, whose unwavering refusal to pay this ultimate price reverberated far beyond his fields. He wasn't a warrior king or a strategic general. He was a quiet, devout Sikh, whose singular, resounding no against the most powerful empire of his time became a beacon of unyielding courage that continues to inspire millions. This extraordinary act of defiance came from a young man named Bhai Taru Singh, a farmer from the village of Pula, near Lahore. He belonged to the Khalsa, a spiritual brotherhood founded by Guru Gobind Singh Ji in 1699, whose members commit to living a life of spiritual discipline and righteous action. A core part of the Khalsa identity is keeping kesh, unshorn hair, and beard, a sacred symbol of devotion and acceptance of God's will. During this period, under Governor Zakaria Khan, being a Khalsa Sikh was a death sentence. Rewards were offered for Sikh heads, and gurdwaras, the Sikh places of worship, were raised. The demand to cut one's kesh was a direct assault on their faith, a forced renunciation of who they fundamentally were. It's a moment often overlooked in the grand tapestries of history, yet its implications were profound. Had you ever heard of this particular act of quiet, unshakable courage, a farmer's stand against an empire for nothing more than his sacred identity? The mid-18th century was a dark age for Sikhs in Punjab. Governor Zakaria Khan ruled with an iron fist, determined to eradicate the Khalsa. He issued orders that made it a crime to be a Sikh, driving them into hiding in forests and deserts. His forces hunted them relentlessly, receiving bounties for every Sikh captured or killed. It was a time when survival itself was an act of rebellion, and maintaining one's Khalsa identity meant living with constant peril. Yet, even in this climate of terror, the spirit of service, known as seva, burned brightly. Bhai Taru Singh, though a simple farmer, embodied this spirit. His small hut near Lahore became a secret sanctuary. He worked his land by day, and by night he would cook and secretly provide food, water, and shelter to his fellow Sikhs hiding in the nearby jungles. He saw them not as outlaws, but as brothers and sisters, upholders of the Guru's path, suffering for their faith. His humble home became a gurdwara in spirit, a place of solace and strength amidst the chaos. This selfless act of compassion, this quiet defiance through charity, was his daily ritual. Such acts of covert benevolence, however, rarely remained secret for long in a climate of fear and opportunism. A man named Harbagat Naranjania, a former Khalsa Sikh who had renounced his faith under pressure and become an informer, grew jealous of Bhai Taru Singh's reputation and resented his unwavering devotion. Consumed by malice, Harbagat reported Bhai Taru Singh to Zakaria Khan, accusing him not only of sheltering Sikhs, but also of conspiring against the state. The truth was, Bhai Taru Singh's only conspiracy was charity, his only weapon was compassion. Acting on Harbagat's false accusations, Zakaria Khan dispatched a detachment of Mughal soldiers to Pula. They stormed Bhai Taru Singh's humble dwelling, seizing him without warning. His family watched in anguish as he was dragged away, his hands bound, his head held high. The journey to Lahore, often filled with abuse and taunts for other captives, was different for Bhai Taru Singh. He remained utterly calm, his eyes fixed on an unseen horizon of spiritual certainty, chanting Gurbani, the sacred hymns from the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of Sikhi. Brought before Governor Zakaria Khan in Lahore, Bhai Taru Singh stood firm. The governor, infamous for his cruelty, eyed the young farmer with contempt, baffled by his serenity. He offered Bhai Taru Singh a choice: renounce his Sikh faith, cut his kesh, and convert to Islam, or face a gruesome death. Just cut your hair, Zakaria Khan demanded, and you will be set free. Abandon this path and live. This was the tax, not a sum of money, but a piece of his very soul. It was the ultimate test of identity. Bhai Taru Singh's reply was immediate and unequivocal, his voice steady despite the oppressive power arrayed against him. He reportedly said, and these words are etched into the memory of countless Sikhs, "The kesh are more precious to me than gold and silver, even more than my life itself. You may cut off my head, but you shall not cut my kesh." He further declared that his faith was the Guru's gift, an unbreakable bond. He refused to allow his body, his identity, to be defiled by the tyrannical state's demands. His no was absolute. Enraged by such defiance, Zakaria Khan ordered the most barbaric punishment. He declared that since Bhai Taru Singh would not allow his hair to be cut, his scalp, along with the hair, would be scraped off his skull. Imagine the horror of such a decree, designed to break not just the body, but the spirit, to make an example of anyone who dared to refuse the state's authority over their personal faith. Yet, even as the executioner began his gruesome task, Bhai Taru Singh remained composed, reciting Gurbani, facing his shahidi, his martyrdom, with serene strength. The historical accounts describe that Bhai Taru Singh lived for several days after this horrific ordeal, continuing to chant Gurbani, astonishing all who witnessed his resilience. His shahidi on July 1, 1745, became a rallying cry. But the story doesn't end there. Just weeks after Bhai Taru Singh's sacrifice, Governor Zakaria Khan fell gravely ill, suffering from a painful illness that festered in his lower abdomen. It is said that his agony was so intense he cried out for Bhai Taru Singh, believing his suffering was divine retribution for the unspeakable cruelty he inflicted. Zakaria Khan ultimately died from his illness, a man consumed by his own tyranny. Bhai Taru Singh's unwavering faith, however, lived on, burning brighter than ever. His sacrifice became a powerful symbol, inspiring Sikhs across Punjab to resist oppression with renewed vigor. It was a clear message. Even the humblest of individuals, armed only with their conviction, could stand against an empire and win a moral victory that would echo through centuries. His actions reaffirmed the core Sikh belief in the sovereignty of the spirit, a truth no worldly power could extinguish. Bhai Taru Singh's story profoundly illustrates the meaning of kesh, which is far more than just hair. It represents a spiritual commitment, a complete acceptance of the Guru's teachings, and a visible declaration of one's identity as a Khalsa Sikh. It is a crown of devotion, a symbol of sovereignty and freedom from worldly fashions and conventions. When Bhai Taru Singh refused to let his kesh be cut, he was not merely protecting a bodily feature. He was defending the very essence of his spiritual being, his unwavering connection to the divine. His decision, taken in a small, forgotten village, resonated with a universal truth, that there are things more valuable than life itself. It wasn't about politics or power, but about the inalienable right to one's conscience and identity. He chose the path of unwavering principle, reminding us that true strength lies not in military might, but in the moral courage to stand for what is right, even when facing impossible odds. This farmer, this peasant, taught an empire that a spiritual conviction cannot be taxed, cannot be severed, cannot be conquered. Bhai Taru Singh's sacrifice stands as a towering beacon in Sikh history, a testament to the power of one individual's no against the collective yes of fear and oppression. His story is not just a historical event, it is a living principle. I often find myself reflecting on its profound message, wondering, what are you willing to stand for when the world demands you compromise your deepest truths? What is the tax you refuse to pay, not with money, but with the very core of who you are? For this humble farmer, his identity, his kesh, was non-negotiable. And in that ultimate refusal, he secured an eternal victory, leaving behind a legacy of uncompromising faith that continues to inspire defiance against tyranny, wherever it may rear its head. A legacy of unwavering spirit, eternally free.